Yeah, you can usually with SDK if we all have the same. Yeah. Yeah, you should. You can go to local mode, which All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Western States Racing League here on ESPN. I am James Riles, and with me in the booth tonight is Tony and Ben. Tony, Ben, give me 1 second. Let me get the audio right. How are y'all doing today? Can you hear me?
Can hear you now.
Hey, there we go. So how's it going today, folks? Are you ready for some exciting racing at the Western States Racing League?
We really need to work on your show open, bud.
I know. Well, I was trying to in the background do a lot of work, and then you didn't hear me, and we kind of killed it, didn't we? Well, let's restart. You take it away, Tony.
After a barn burner last week at Hotlanta, we moved to the Music City, USA, and the Nashville Superspeedway. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round 13 of the Western States Racing League, season number 46. Join your Paso up in the booth with you tonight. Joined with me by James Riles and Mr. Ben Bruno. Gentlemen, welcome to the home of country music.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be a lot of fun here again, as through these first 12 rounds, there has been no shortage of action so far. These points battles just continue to heat up. We've seen Bentley Glazer be extremely dominant, but there's certainly some guys here in this field that have proven that they have what it takes to knock the 87 off the podium.
Yeah, there's been a few drivers that have shown that they can stick with him, but Bentley's made a statement early on this season in the previous 12 races. that, if you want the championship, you're going through him. And he's showing why he is the defending series champion.
Absolutely. And, picking up right there, Bentley currently sitting just outside of the top 5 in lap times here through practice with a 30.153. Ross Rawlings, who we've seen be strong all season long with the Western States Racing League, topping it off first in practice with a 30.026, Tony.
Absolutely. And then you take a look at, second and third, and they're nipping right at his heels as, these times are real tight here tonight. And part of the reason for that is the relatively cool conditions for Nashville here tonight. 77-degree ambient air temperature, only 82 degrees as the sun is starting to go down. And the track is going to get cooler as the night wears on, which means more grip, more speed, and more opportunities to make some moves in traffic.
Absolutely. And per the usual, only one fast repair this week for these guys from Nashville. 4 sets of Goodyear Eagles to strap on the shoes of these trucks here. And gonna sound like a broken record. Got to maintain the damage on that truck. You want to be aggressive, but not too aggressive. And also manage those tires, as we've seen pit strategy be extremely important through the first 12 rounds, Tony.
Absolutely. And we've seen other series that we broadcast run here at the Nashville Superspeedway, and this track is just insane on tires. Very easy to cheese grater both right sides if you're not careful. The right side, right front going in, the right rear coming off. And if you go too hard, too quick, you will pay for it. And these concrete walls here at Nashville are very unforgiving.
Absolutely. And that really just plays into exactly what I talk about every week. It's taking care of that truck. And not sure who we're riding with, but just saw it right there. The 91 of Ross Rawlings coming off a pit road with some fresh tires, heading out of turn number 2, loses the handle on that truck and finds the very hard outside safer barrier. Just got to make sure that in the long runs and even coming off with fresh tires, these trucks can really be a handful. I've said it before. If you're not familiar with the iRacing server, these trucks are really a different animal as far as handling these things, and really got to make sure that you're being mindful of what you're doing.
Speaking of being mindful of what you're doing, Jeff Schmeier just went for a Mr. Toad's Wild Ride coming off of 4. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Ben. And with the cooler conditions tonight, that means that on fresh tires, on cold tires, it's going to take another at least half a lap to get the heat into those tires as Bentley Glazer loops it on the access road, trying to come out of pit road. And that's something we're probably going to see a lot of tonight, is guys looping it on that pit out access road, because the guys aren't racing there. There's not a lot of heat in that patch of asphalt, and there's a lot of debris down there.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
No, it was just, so that's something these guys are really going to have to be mindful of, the pit in and the pit out access roads. It's treacherous getting into pit road. It's going to be even more deadly coming off because there's zero heat in the tires.
Absolutely. And, kind of like we see in the road courses, we might see a little bit of first one to make the mistake's going to lose in this battle here at Nashville. As Tony just said, getting into pit road, not an easy one here at Nashville coming off. Certainly not any easier, but even in these green flag runs, which I'm sure that we'll see a good stints of green flag laps, as these guys are just so skillful at, keeping it under green and not under yellow. Really got to be mindful of what's happening with those right side tires and how much throttle you can use, especially if you're a guy that's looking to run just on the bottom, just in the middle, or just on the top. Overcoming the adversity of changing those lines up and being able to handle the throttle for what those right side tires will allow.
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna have to chase the grip here tonight. On fresh tires, you're gonna feel like Superman is big moment for the 4 of Brian Barnes coming off as Kyle McCartney goes for a ride through the pit lane there. So yeah, these guys are slipping and sliding right now, and this is just a hot lap session. Imagine what it's going to be when they're racing under anger. But yeah, no, you definitely hit the nail on the head. That you're going to have to chase the grip. You're going to have to not be afraid to change your line, because as the old adage goes, if you're not the lead dog, the view never changes. You need to change your view if you want to be the lead dog tonight.
Absolutely, and it's certainly not going to be easy at a track like Nashville, as we've talked about so far. Just managing it and keeping that truck out of the wall. We've seen a lot of it here so far through practice. We'll see as these guys get 2 and 3 wide, maybe even wider than that at sometimes, with how aggressive some of these guys can be, just how well they're able to manage to do that under all that pressure. Take a look at the points here. We got a little bit of a delay in scoring, so I'm going to take a look at the end of round number 11, which was Watkins Glen. Bentley Glazer on top. Ryan Steele was in second. Jeff Schmeier in third. I believe that might have been shuffled up a little bit there in round number 12 from Atlanta, but
it was ever so slightly, as they're getting ready to fire off qualifying right now, and it looks like Bentley Glazer going to be the first one to roll it. So your points leader not wasting any time to go after a qualifying attempt here.
Absolutely. It looked like Adrian Moore was going to be the second. It's going to be the 20 of Wayne Hutchison, the 46 of Earl Weaver, and the 87 of Bentley Glazer taken to the track for the time being, as these guys continue to get these trucks wound up on this first momentum lap. We'll see what everybody's got, as Bentley Glazer, as I had mentioned, not at the top of the leaderboard in practice. So see if he was maybe doing a little bit of sandbag, and see if he can earn another pole position here, Tony.
Well, we're going to find out in a lap and a half, as he brings it down the back straightaway on his first of 2 flyers. We've also got Timmy Bates and Paul Crumry rolling them right now, but we're going to stick with Glazer as he's on the bottom side, coming off of 4. Nice tidy lap so far. Up towards the wall, down towards the apron. Lap 1 in the books for Glazer. Not bad. That's not a bad lap at all, as he goes provisional P1 and immediately gets knocked off by the 46 of Earl Weaver by about half a tenth. See if Glazer can improve. Fastest in his second sector. Let's see what the third sector brings us. And Glazer does not improve. So Earl Weaver currently sitting atop the pile, as Timmy Bates goes fifth quick. Wayne Hutchinson goes third quick. Time's coming in hot and heavy now, as Ron Holyfield has the Nuclear Banana number 2 out on track.
And Rob Gall in the 31 able to take away the 4 spot, and temporarily at that, as Brian Barnes going to go third in the 4 with a 30.147. So your top 3 right now are Earl Weaver, Bentley Glazer, Brian Barnes, and then in 4th, Rob Gall. Now Ron Holyfield able to top Rob Gall, as Rob Gall comes around for his second lap. Is going to be able to snag that 4th position back from Holyfield with a 30.197, and some of these guys going quicker than what they did in practice too.
Absolutely, as Charles Woods bringing the United States Postal Service number 40 down the back straightaway for his first flyer. Into turn 3 he goes. Nice and tidy lap so far, as Jeff Hollingsworth is just now coming out on track. Woods goes 6 quick on his opening salvo.
And Dennis
Not
Fuson in the 11.
sure what Hollingsworth is doing here. Well, now he picks up the throttle. Just tiptoeing off of pit road, making sure his settings are right.
As I was going to mention there, Dennis Fuson in the 11 had problems during qualifying, only able to turn in a 30.851, as we see James Campbell on his first lap turn in a 30.796. Fuson was in the ones in practice, so had to have been a problem for him in his qualifying effort. Did turn in both laps, if I'm not mistaken, as more times are rolling in. Right now, the top three still remain what they have been. Weaver, Glazer, Barnes is Charles Wood sitting in sixth, Ayrton Tobin in seventh, Wayne Hutchison eighth, Paul Kroom-Rye ninth, David Wood 10th. Currently out on track, we see Martin Tuck on his first lap having some trouble with the wall. He was one of the quicker times in practice, so first lap not going to count for Tuck.
Hollingsworth jumps up the fourth quick as Bob Beltrami comes down to put his first flyer in the books. Wow, second quick for the 14.
Certainly didn't miss a mark there in the 14. See if he can improve on that here in his second flyer and take away the throne from Earl Weaver as he heads down into 3. Coming back around to the front stretch. Can he improve on it to the flag stand? He will not improve. A 30.176 for Beltrami on his second lap. But really shuffling it up with a great qualifying effort for the 14 of Beltrami.
How about the number 12 of Ryan Steele going 6 quick on his first lap? Coming down the back straightaway here at the Nashville Superspeedway into turn 3 and 4. Nice and tidy down towards that bottom lane. Full head of steam coming off of 4. Let's see what this is going to give to Steele. And to the top of the pile.
That's the 17 of Martin.
I'm sorry, Martin Tuck. Wow.
Yeah, he ran a 30.054 in practice, a 30.070 to edge Earl Weaver by less than a sheet of paper there, Tony. An absolute heater from Martin Tuck, going to take away that point spot as Kyle McCartney's first lap is going to register for an 8th qualifying effort. I'm sorry, 9th qualifying effort
Ross
with a 30.195.
Holy cow. Ross Rawlings in the 91, 30 dead. And McCartney going to go 9th quick in the 18, as looks like the only 2 guys left that are going to... Schmeier's rolling it in the 22. But Barry Phil in the 42 Mobile 1 Toyota Tundra has that on his second flyer right now, currently sitting 25th quick. Let's see if the Canadian can improve his time as he brings it down the back straightaway into the 3-4 complex. Nice and tidy down low. About a truck width and a half off that bottom, flirting with disaster. Eats the wall and negates the lap.
Wayne Fleet also had problems there too, Tony. He did turn both of his laps. I don't believe he did register a timed lap as...
he ate the wall both times.
Yeah, so as we said pre-race, I mean, let alone the race, I didn't think that we would see problems with this in qualifying, but these guys having quite the time here in qualifying.
Absolutely, as Jeff Schmeier brings the double deuce. That's going to put him 13th quick on his opening lap. Get that thing wound up a little bit more as he brings that Ford F-150 down the back straightaway one more time. Full head of steam for the 22, hauling off into turn number 3. improved on his first part of the lap. Let's see what he can do on the second part here. Just a slight wiggle coming off of 4. Down to the line and will not improve his position. 13th quick for Schmeier. As the only other truck we've got going right now is the ace of Julian Ricci. As he's bringing it into turns 3 and 4 for his first lap. Full head of steam coming towards the line. Let's see what this first time gives to the ace. And that is going to put him 21st quick. So it looks like we're only going to see 27 of the... I'm showing 33.
Yes, sir.
So 6 drivers electing to not take time or unfortunately had issues on their qualifying attempts and did not post a valid time. As make that 34. No, okay, 33, because Jeff Schloss just got here too in the 023. And that is going to do it for the qualifying session. Ben, the biggest thing I could take away from this qualifying session is it looks like turn 4 is going to be the issue tonight. And not really a big shocker there, considering that the sun was beating on that corner of the track most of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you got to figure with the sun going down now, probably going to help to aid with that a little bit, but it's certainly what we've seen so far. And with that, could we see, I guess not a surprise winner, but could we see another new winner here this week from Nashville? As really not certain what's going to happen here, as a handful of guys that we're not used to seeing sitting in front of these first 2 rows are sitting there right now. So with that, if you're watching at home, let us know who you're rooting for and who you want to win this one. We love hearing from you guys. And as always, I always like to know where you're watching from. So drop a comment and let us know who you're a fan of sitting at home watching this one.
So as the truck's starting to grid up, starting up on the point, unofficial track record, Ross Rawlings in that Mid-South Chevy Silverado going to be setting quick time. He is going to be joined on the front row with Martin Tuck in the 17. The 46, Earl Weaver, and the 14 of Bob Beltrami making up row number 2. Points leader Bentley Glazer is going to be joined with his teammate Jeff Hollingsworth in row number 3. Brian Barnes and Ryan Steele, 2 tough contenders from last week that both fell on a little bit of hard luck, coming home, starting out in row 4. Row 5 gives us Kyle McCartney and Rob Gall. Ben?
Starting 11th going to be the Nuclear Banana, the 2 Ron Holyfield. 2 is outside the 40 of Charles Woods. Behind them will be the 22 of Jeff Schmeier in 13th and the 1 of Julian Ricci in 14th. Arton Tobin in the 99, slated to start this one, 15th. Wayne Hutchison, 16th. Paul Krumrye in the 23, starting 17th. David Wood, 18th. Fred Williams, 19th. And David Weaver in 20th.
25 of Adrian Moore and the 19 of James Campbell are going to make up row number 11. Row 12 brings us Timmy Bates and Paul Hoffman. Will Fletcher and Dennis Fuson rolling off in row 13. Row 14 gives us Barry Phil, who was the last car to actually post a time in qualifying. He's going to be rolling off 27th. He's joined with Angelo Espo. The rest of the field set by their I ratings, so that gives us Wayne Fleet and Brandon Sauls. Wayne Fleet and Javier Torres in row 15. Row 16 is Jeff Sloss and Brandon Sauls. And Dan Stussy making up all by his lonesome row number 14. 17. As the field worked its way into the 3-4 complex behind the Chevy Silverado pace truck, the only thing that's left to do is wipe the visor, pull the 5-point safety harness tight, and race fans, it's showtime!
Green flag is in the air for the 91 of Ross Rawlings. He's got a good jump to this one. He's followed closely behind Martin Tuck, and then we see Bentley Glazer going side by side with Earl Weaver, who did not get the start that he wanted in this one, and he's got Bob Beltrami absolutely hounding him to get around. Could we see these guys go 3 wide shortly? It seems like everybody pretty settled as we see the 14 of Bob Beltrami now take a look to the bottom, and he's going to bring along the 97 of Jeff Hollingsworth.
Weaver almost got into the wall coming off a 4, had to check up just a little bit to let Beltrami get a run on him down the front chute. Beltrami to the inside through 1 and 2. That is your battle for 4th right now. Beltrami with the nose out front, looking to bring Hollingsworth with him. And right now, Brian Barnes just sitting there going, okay, which lane am I going in? As he's right behind that battle for 5th as Hollingsworth pulls alongside of Weaver. Weaver flirting with disaster again coming off the 4.
Absolutely. As you had mentioned pre-race, lots of action coming off of turn number 4 as we now see the 4 of Brian Barnes making his way to the inside of the 46 as Hollingsworth was able to clear. And look out for the 18 of Kyle McCartney, wasting no time right now to follow these guys along. Battle for 2nd starting to heat up now as Bentley Glazer able to get clear the 17 of Martin Tuck and take away that 2nd spot at the line. Martin Tuck in the 17 continuing to ride on that top line, now going to cross over and fall into shape right in front of the 14 of Bob Beltrami.
Tuck's got to be careful because Beltrami is a hungry wolf, has yet to put it in victory lane this season, and you know he wants to do so before the end of the season. No better place than here in Music City, USA, the Nashville Superspeedway, as Beltrami side by side with Tuck as they haul it off into turn number 1.
And for as fast as Tuck has been, gotta wonder if maybe a little bit of tire preservation early on from him as he continues to decide to run on the top. All these guys finding all the speed down on the bottom now as Hollingsworth to the door, the 17 of Tuck. Looks like he's going to be able to clear here coming off of turn number 4. He will. A little slide job there from the 97 of Hollingsworth. Things starting to settle back out as we see Schmeier, Rob Gall, and Kyle McCartney continuing to try to plow forward towards the 12 of Ryan Steele.
Absolutely, as Steele giving Earl Weaver all he can handle. Their battle for 6th really hot and heavy right now between the 17 and the 12 and the 46, as Weaver has now caught the 17 of Martin Tuck. So what was a battle for 5th has now become a battle for 6th has now become a battle for 5th.
May have been a wreck. I heard some sounds back there coming down the front stretch. Can't see if there was anything happening, but some right side damage to some guys early on in this one, as I can see some right side damage to the 99 of Ayrton Tobin with some damage.
Well, you know, Darlington's got the Darlington stripe. We're going to call that the Nashville stomp, because you basically are just stomping dents in the right side bedside of these pickups, as a battle still hot and heavy right now for 5th, as Weaver trying to figure out a way to get by Tuck. And so far, Tuck's able to arc that corner like he was wanting to early on, but couldn't because he had cars to his inside. But they've got to get this sorted out pretty quick, because Rob Gall and Kyle McCartney are reeling these guys in hand over fist.
Absolutely, and it just continues to rage on. That's a good battle there between Gall and McCartney, as Gall seems to be a little bit impatient to continue to stare at that black eye racing tailgate of the 18 of McCartney. And as you had mentioned, they continue to plow forward. If we take a little look back here, Ron Holyfield, Brian Barnes, and Wayne Hutchison now doing battle, as the 4 of Brian Barnes certainly has some speed in that one. Currently moved back a handful of spots, but continuing to try to rally, as Wayne Hutchison has moved up 3 spots from where he gridded 16th to 13th. as things continue to heat up there between Hutchison and Barnes.
Absolutely. In case you're wondering why we're not talking about the race leader, it's because he's already got a 2 3/4 gap. Looks like Adrian Moore having issues in the 25. Oh, Fusan's truck has seen better days. Looks like him and Moore had a meeting of the minds. But we stay green, but there's a ton of damage on the right side of that Tito's number 11 of Fusan. But as I was saying, the reason why we're not really talking about the race lead right now is because Ross Rawlings is starting to pull a gap, closing in quickly on a full 2 seconds over your points leader, Bentley Glazer, who rides in second place right now. And Glazer's got to be worrying about that 14 in his rearview mirror, because Bob Beltrami is, no one to take lightly. And with the season, we're running out of time here in this season. Beltrami's got to make some moves happen, so he's hungry for a win tonight, as he is just stalking Glazer right now. As looks like battle for fourth as Tuck getting right up on the back bumper of Hollingsworth as that battle rages on.
Absolutely, and the 97 gonna let Tuck around him to the bottom here, and only 13 laps into this one as they make their way to the flag. Battle for eighth starting to shape up now between Kyle McCartney, Ryan Steele, Rob Gall, Jeff Schmeier. At the back of that one, we see the 46 of Earl Weaver, I believe that is.
That was Weaver that just went for a ride and took Schmeier with him. They went into the grass off the racing line, and somehow we stay green. I don't know how. And Earl Weaver just twiffed the mill in that engine bay. A lot of smoke coming from that Ace Hardware number 46. He's going to have to burn his fast repair here, but that was a wild one right there. He just bounced off the wall a little too hard and snap, see ya, bye. And unfortunately for Jeff Schmeier, he was right there, right place, wrong time.
Absolutely, and a tough break for Weaver at that, as he certainly had some good speed in that 46 truck. All the meanwhile, the caution flag does finally come out here. Burton Tobin. See what happened there.
I think I got yelled at for that before. I think it's Ayrton.
Ayrton.
Like Senna.
Okay, so going down the front stretch.
Oh.
That's Paul Hoffman with some contact, and then just finishing off the 99. That's going to wrap up the 29 of William Fletcher. Timothy Bates able to just skate around it, but a tough ride there for the 99 of Tobin. Is Paul Hoffman. No love to be shared there between the 3 and the 99, and eats that outside wall.
Yeah, absolutely. As the 28 of Timmy Bate, 28 of Will Fletcher catching a race truck to the face as Tobin was given the chrome horn by the Budweiser number 3 and just safer barrier test engaged. So,
see what this brings us.
I would dare say wholesale pit stops.
At least for now, Julian Ricci coming down pit road. The 3 of Paul Hoffman now.
Glazer's in. Glazer's in. Barnes is in. Crumry. Barnes. Glazer, Barnes, Ricci, Crumry, Bates, Fletcher, Moore, Campbell, Schmeier, Fusan. And this is a godsend for Fusan because that truck had seen better days. that looked like it rode hard and put away wet after the contact that he had that just completely annihilated and cheese grated the right side of that truck.
It was a little bit of a show and tell there on pit road. Not sure if anybody else caught that at home, but some guys taking a duck in and electing not to go. I believe one of them, I know that there was a handful of them, but one of them was the 97 of Jeff Hollingsworth, and not exactly sure what's going on with the 46 of Earl Weaver. As that one came out, he parked it in the front stretch, and he is very slow at the tail end of this one. Coming down the front stretch again, looks like he might be.
He didn't beat the pace truck. He didn't he beat the pace truck off the pit road, so he's got to drop to the tail end. As lights are still on. Excuse me. But this one's going to be a fun one to see what's about to happen here. As Glazer 4 in fuel, Crumry 4 in fuel, Barnes 4 in fuel, and they ran the baseball bat through the fender well to knock out a little bit of damage that as he kissed the safer barriers. Same thing for Timmy Bates. Same thing for Julian Ricci. Schmeier 4 in fuel. So not too much damage on the double deuce. Fuson getting some of that damage fixed as they ran the baseball bat through both fender wells to make sure that they were nice and round and didn't cut a tire later on. The vast majority of guys that came down under that yellow flag, half of them took just 4 in fuel. The rest of them had to fix some damage. As looks like lights are getting ready to go out on the iRacing pace truck then.
Absolutely, and with that, that's going to hand it to the 91 of Ross Rawlings, the 14 of Beltrami to his outside. As you had mentioned earlier, the season's starting to wind down as we're just past the halfway point of the season. The 14 of Beltrami looking to get a win. Been so elusive to him. He's been fast all season long here. And behind him, Martin Tuck and Jeff Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth, as I had said to him last week, he very well might be the manager of Heartbreak Hotel, as that is all he has been able to get this season so far. Is tough.
That's on the other side of the state. No, that's on the other side of the state. That's Memphis.
Well, either way, he might be the manager.
Fair enough. Anyways, Rawlings going to have the button when we go back to green flag action. Beltrami going to be starting to his outside, a little bit behind him so he can keep an eye on when Rawlings pulls the trigger. Pace truck makes that hard left turn onto pit road. Here we go one more time. Rawlings holds him down. Green flag is in the air now. Rawlings pulls the trigger, and here comes Tuck to the inside of Beltrami.
Absolutely, and that got everybody stacked up a little bit. It looks like the biggest loser in that one was the 40 of Woods, as he was starting a bit further up, now shuffled back quite a bit, but a great jump again for the 91 of Ross Rawlings. Martin Tuck to the inside of the 14 going into turn number 3. See if he can make that stick on the bottom of Beltrami. They go door to door down the front stretch. Here comes Hollingsworth, Steele, and McCartney now, as the 14 of Beltrami able to use the momentum to his advantage to maintain it. But Martin Tuck with the preferred line on the bottom. See just how long the 14 can last out there. A little bit of contact coming off of turn number 2, and they're going 2 by 2 down the back stretch.
Absolutely, as Beltrami was trying to pinch Tuck off and not let him get that run. And Tuck said, I'm going to put my race truck here, and if you want to hit me, that's on you. And these guys are going to have to get this sorted out pretty quick, because Ross Rawlings is starting to set sail as he's closing in on a full second to the good over these guys. And, the last thing these guys want is for him to get that far out like he did the last time. It was almost 2 seconds to the good when the last caution came out. But the biggest question, Ben, and we've seen it all season long, is Rawlings going too hard too quick?
Absolutely, and especially at a track like this as Beltrami nearly catches a piece of the safer barrier coming out of turn number 4. Martin Tuck now has to stop this bleeding as Ryan Steele in the 12 able to get around. Hollingsworth has been fast all night, and a guy that's no slouch now working the bottom, the 18 of McCartney, and wow, what a shuffle coming off of turn number 2. Tuck able to slide up in front of the 97, and here comes the 18 of McCartney.
Glazer, who restarted in 16th, already sitting in the number 8 spot. Big trouble for Beltrami.
Yeah, coming off of turn 4, a ton of contact with the outside wall, and these guys had to take evasive action to not get wrapped up in it. And as you had mentioned, Tony, turn 4 had that sun beaten on it, and it is being absolutely ruthless so far, 24 laps down in this one.
Absolutely is. These guys are going to have to get this sorted out pretty quick, because here comes Glazer with about 13, 14 lap newer tires than the rest of the guys around him, as he was 15th at the restart, now sitting in 5th, wanting to get 4th away from his teammate, as that's Hollingsworth right in front of him. One more time. A full 4/10 faster that last lap as Hollingsworth throws to the inside of Tuck to try to get up into 3rd, and contact between Hollingsworth and Tuck, 3 wide off of 4.
And here comes the 18 of McCartney now. Down to the inside, they might be 3 wide heading into turn number 1. Looks like McCartney doesn't have the nose quite there, as that's going to allow Hollingsworth to make his way back and will maintain that spot. But the run for the 18, very good. Coming off the bottom, he's able to pull right back to the bumper, and that solidifies Bentley Glazer 2-for-1 special up into the 3rd spot, as Ryan Steele currently sitting in 2nd with that big mistake from Bob Beltrami.
Absolutely, and we know Steele's another one of those guys that's real hungry to try to put one in victory lane. And we've only seen a handful of winners this season, and the vast majority, or the excuse me, go ahead.
And most of those winners are definitely Bentley Glazer, but this battle just continuing to rage on as Ryan Steele looks to get that elusive victory here. Rob Gall, Jeff Schmeier, and Martin Tuck now shaking it up back there to try to get that 6th spot away. That's Schmeier in the 22 on the top.
As I'm watching the battle with Martin Tuck and Paul Brumai and Jeff Schmeier, like you said, all these cars on new tires that know how to use them, they are pushing through the field, as Bentley Glazer has now taken 2nd away from Ryan Steele. Almost trying to get him on the inside there, working on the outside. As this race is heating up, folks, this is a fantastic run by these guys at the mile and a 3rd track of the Nashville Superspeedway, as these guys at Dunlop Pint are just bleeding here at Nashville.
And Bentley Glazer in the 87 with these fresh tires has reeled in the 91 of Ross Rawlings for the first time. Our leader, Ross Rawlings, will see pressure for that 1st spot. Here comes Bentley down to the inside. It's going to be a drag race to the flag stand. Give it to Rawlings by nothing, as Bentley able to make his way around him on the bottom heading into turn number 1.
Glazer taking over the lead for the first time tonight in that Gatorade number 87. Pit strategy playing to perfection right now, as Jeff Schmeier, another one who's climbing up through the field pretty quickly, restarted in 20th, currently sitting in the number 4 spot behind Ryan Steele, and quickly reeling in the 12. The point I was going to make before I almost swallowed my own tongue, there's only been 5 winners all season. 4 of those go to Bentley Glazer. 3 of the wins belong to Kyle McCartney. Jeff Schmeier has 2. Dalton England has 1, and Jackson Bell has 1. That's the entirety of the winning drivers this season. Ryan Steele has had 4 times he's finished in the top 5. You know he'd want to get that breakthrough performance here tonight in Cashville.
And Ross Rawlings now under fire from Ryan Steele and Jeff Schmeier going to battle with each other. Schmeier on the bottom, Steele on the top. it looks like Schmeier, with those fresher tires, will be able to make his way around the 91 here, heading into turn number 4. He's got a great run of momentum. The 91 doing everything that he can to hold on to his, as he's unable to do so. Looks like it might be a twofer here for Rawlings. Pulls down in front of the 12 of Ryan Steele, trying to block that momentum run. Unable to do so heading into turn number 1. Ryan Steele still trying to work and take it away from Ross Rawlings for third.
Steele and Rawlings in lockstep right now. A little bit further back, looks like Will Fletcher in the 28 is working on Charles Woods right now. It's Fletcher on the high side, Woods on the low side, fresh tires against old tires. And give it to Fletcher as they come off of turn number 4 in that Haveling number 28.
And how's about the 23 of Paul Kroom Ryan, that Hooters truck now starting to creep his way up, looking to throw his hat in this battle for third as Rawlings continues to hold off the 12 of Ryan Steele. That's going to open up the door for the 23. And with all this battling happening, Jeff Hollingsworth and Kyle McCartney closing in slowly and surely on this battle, as we see Kroomrye now to the bottom of the 12 of Ryan Steele heading into turn number 1. Big move for the 12 or the 23 of Kroomrye to get around the 12 of Ryan Steele.
Absolutely. Kroomrye up 13 positions so far. Looks like biggest mover of the race goes to Kroomrye. Started 13th, now sitting in the number 4 slot. So I take that back. Javier Torres currently up 17 positions, currently running in the number 13 position. So great run for the driver of the number 15. But Ron Holyfield now fights with Will Fletcher. Again, Fletcher on the new tires. Holyfield has 37 laps on his, so about 20 lap newer tires for Fletcher as he starts to continue to make some headway. And in the meantime, Bentley Glazer's still 2 seconds to the good over Schmeier. Schmeier right now just holding court in that second position. Kroomrye up into third. So took 4 tires under the last pit stop, took 4 tires under the last caution, took 4 tires under the last caution. Ross Rawlings and everybody behind him. Next freshest set of tires is Will Fletcher, who's sitting in 10th. Everybody else still on the same set that they started with. So tire strategy's already starting to rear their ugly heads here tonight at Nashville.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Huge tire advantage to these guys, as we're seeing Bentley Glazer and Jeff Schmeier out to a 2-second advantage, and Paul Kroomrye trying to get in there. But we talked about Javier Torres up 17 positions in that 13th spot. He did not take tires, so he's making these passes on skill alone, which is hard to do at the Nashville Superspeedway, folks.
Absolutely. In the battle for fourth between Ross Rawlings, Ryan Steele, and McCartney continues to rage on. As it blows my mind at this point that the 91, with as old of tires as he's on, and grant that the field is level there between these three, but he was out front pushing very hard and just using that 12 truck to perfection to hold off the 12 of Ryan Steele. But as you can see, McCartney not able to close in, so certainly not driving him how you wouldn't want him to, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of respect being shown this early in the event, as here comes McCartney to the inside of Steele going into turn number 3. McCartney's got position. Steele's going to let him go. And I take that back. Steele battling back in that second lane. McCartney keeps his foot in it and drag race to the stripe. Give this position to McCartney as Steele relegated back to 6. McCartney up into the top 5. Steele almost gives him the chrome horn going into 1. He's got to be careful because he's got a very hungry Jeff Hollingsworth all over his tailgate as haul it down the back straight away. And
with that, it has made this from a 2-car battle to a 3-car battle to a 4-car battle.
It's
now
about
a
to be a
5th car
5.
approaching. Yes, in the 17 of Martin Tuck now coming into the picture of this one, but Hollingsworth closed in like a freight train on the 12 of Ryan Steele. And as you had mentioned, finally starting to work on a lap car. That's the 14 or the 19 of James Campbell, Bentley, and Schmeier able to make their way around. That's who Krumrye has in front of him now. But that battle just continuing to go car by car between Hollingsworth, McCartney, Steele, and Hollingsworth.
Absolutely is. Will Fletcher continues his climb forward as he's reeling in Rob Gall for the number 9 slot. Again, old tires versus fresh tires. You got to give it to fresh tires right now, although they're starting to get to the point in a tire run where these tires are going to start to even out a little bit. There's still going to be a little bit of a grip advantage for the guys that came down under that caution to get some fresh shoes put on these cars. But you got to give you got to wonder if these guys were trying it early to see what's going to happen and how quickly they can get forward if they decide to throw that last set on if we get a late race caution.
And the clean air has been taken away from the 23 of Krumrye as he makes his way around the lap car. These guys have closed in the form of Ross Rawlings, McCartney, Steele, and Hollingsworth now to within a truck length of the 23. So a big change of events for Paul Krumrye as these guys continue to shake it up. That's the 18 of McCartney down on the inside, sliding up in front of the 12 of Steele. And look out if you're the 23, you're gripping that wheel extra tight as those tires are starting to move away as Paul Krumrye pushed very, very hard.
Now the big question right now is how long before we start seeing green flag pit stops. Now they did have 100% fuel fill here tonight, but some of these guys are right about now. They're praying for a caution, to try to get 4 fresh tires and the fresh tank could go fast without having to run the risk of going 1 or more laps down. And we've seen it time and time again. Wow, that sounded ugly.
And now Paul Krumrye gonna start losing spots. Oh, the 27 of David Wood spins right in front of him and didn't make any contact with anybody. But wow, that could have been bad for these guys.
That's what I was hearing was the heavy contact of the 27. And heads up driving for everyone around him as he just was trying to hustle it to get it back out there. But how about Will Fletcher right now, up 16 positions, currently riding in the number 9 spot. And it looks like Schmeier is reeling in Glazer and he's pulling away from Rawlings. What was a 2-second gap back to this battle for third now is over 7 seconds.
Absolutely, and those guys are solidifying as Paul Krumrye continues to bleed. Those battles have been very interesting over the last lap as McCartney was able to get around with Rawlings. Once again, Hollingsworth now able to make his way around. Ryan Steele to the door of the 23, now able to make his way around. In the 17 of Martin Tuck following right behind. But as you mentioned, Tony, these guys starting to close in. Jeff Schmeier now starting to close in on the 87 of Bentley Glazer. Last time by was 1.5 seconds. This time by, we'll know in just a second, 1.6 seconds. So kind of stalled out with these lap cars. Bentley able to make his way around him, but still has more lappers in front of him.
Absolutely is, getting back to the 23 as he drops to 7th position behind Ryan Steele. That seems to have been a problem that we've been seeing with Krumrye a lot this season. As soon as he gets the clean air taken away from him, that truck, he's not comfortable with that truck in arrow push. And the other thing too is he's notorious for going too hard too soon on a set of tires, and I dare say he's burned all of the goodie off those tires so far.
Absolutely, and Ryan Steele battling very hard here, still on that very, very old set of tires from the start of this one. Hollingsworth able to make his way around the 12 of Steele now and continue on towards the 18 of McCartney. It looks like the 97 of Hollingsworth has a little bit more than these guys in front of him. So see how long the 97 decides to stay patient, as it looks like it's not going to be long, Tony.
Absolutely not. Jeff Hollingsworth has what do they call it, malpractice insurance for a reason, because the patient usually dies right around this time of the race. And yeesh, that was another coat of paint on that wall, and he would have been in trouble coming off the 4.
Absolutely, and with that little bobble, it opened it up for Steele. A big aggressive move from McCartney to move down in front of Steele now, and that's a lap truck in the 20 of Hutchison that's in this battle. But Ross Rawlings continues to sail on his own for the time being.
Absolutely, as don't look now, but here comes the 20. Is that a lap truck?
Yes, Wayne Hutchison in the 20, yes.
Okay. I'm going, why am I not seeing him? But yeah, so Hutchinson in the 20, just coming out of pit road a handful of laps ago. Looks like he got 4 in fuel at that time. As
Bentley struggling with lappers here in the 22 of Schmeier, nearly to the tailgate now, as Bentley's got 2 lap trucks in front of him, and the bottom opens up. But this is going to give a good run of momentum to the 22. Can the 87 use him as a pick? He will, heading into turn number 3. See how Schmeier decides to negotiate this lap traffic. Things far from settle up at the front right now. Tony, is Schmeier down on the bottom, now able to get clear of the 1 that's Ricci.
Yeah, absolutely. As Ricci and Fuson were racing for position, that's your battle for 16th. Fuson able to kind of wrestle the spot away, as looks like Ricci was getting a little bit nervous going 3 wide there, and backed out of it ever so slightly, drops in behind Fuson. As Schmeier, this is the closest he's been to Glazer all night long so far. Here we go. Let's see what happens, as both those guys were last down pit road on lap 17, as green flag pit stops look like they're starting to happen, as Angelo Espo, Ayrton Tobin, Fred Williams has been in pit for a while, as has Tobin, and has Espo, so I stand corrected there.
Yeah, Tony, as we got, it's, I believe, Ayrton. There,
Ayrton.
It's Ayrton.
Ayrton.
No, it's Ayrton. We got it in the chat. He said his spotters said it was clear that last incident. It was not clear, so he's down pit road trying to get some of that damage repaired from that first caution.
All right, Ayrton, I do apologize, but you can blame Frank Marchese for that one, because that's how he told me to say it. But again, that's racing there, as something happened to Ricci. Immediately tows it down pit road, or drove it down pit road, and wow, it looked like he backed into a light pole.
Yeah, it looks like he came in the wrong, came down the access road and missed pit entry, had to stop, get back onto it, all straightened up. He's going to complete his stop and get back out on the track.
And the battle for the lead is under fire right now. Bentley Glazer to the top, the 22, Schmeier to the bottom. Will we see our third leader of this one through turn 1 coming out of turn number 2? Yes, Jeff Schmeier in the 22, our new leader of this one, heading down the backstretch. See if he can hold on to that number 1 spot. with the 87 of Glazer, not very used to and comfortable seeing tailgates, and you got to wonder, after being passed, if that might open the door for the 87 to want to take that truck down pit road for some fuel and tires soon.
Absolutely, as Schmeier knows that we're running short on time as far as the rest of the season goes, and all bonus points count moving forward, and he cannot lose any more ground to Glazer if he's going to have a shot at him coming into the close of the season. But Schmeier looks like he may have saved a little bit more than Glazer did, as his lap trucks were not making it easy on the points leader.
Yes, we have more issues coming into and out of pit road. Kyle McCartney looks like he had an issue. He's got some smoke coming out of that truck. We'll see what happened in the 18 car.
Oi.
Oh, huge accident. How is that not a caution? The 3 and the 18 involved. The 3 of Paul Hoffman getting into a little bit of a kerfuffle there. Huge accident right in front of Benny, and he did not call that out. We're still green.
That was the lap truck of Hoffman getting into it with the 91 coming down the front chute, and McCartney got used as a ping pong ball.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the 3 just, I don't think that he knew that he was up there, and just a little bit
McCartney
of
hand grenaded
contact.
the engine.
Oh, man.
That truck is not under its own power right now. He's using the starter to bring that down pit road.
We've got more pit road takers. The 97 of Hollingsworth in there right now. McCartney continues to roll down pit lane.
Rob Gallin, the 31, is in as well.
That truck is going to be any issue as he's still in the middle of pit lane. Just unable to get that thing down. NASCAR ought to look at that and decide to throw a caution on the 18.
Oh, he's almost to his pit box. Come on. You can do it, little buddy. You can do it. Get
So
out there
close.
and push him.
I don't know if I've ever seen something like this making a call. I don't think he's going to make it coming to a stop there in the 31 box.
Oh, man. Well, that's going to be at least a 45-second tow. And McCartney is just going to start hemorrhaging spots right now. Yeah, he has to tow it. So that's going to be about 45 seconds to get into his pit stall, and then he's going to be able to burn his fast repair. Hopefully he had it checked. So right now we have 4 trucks on the lead lap. That's your leader, Jeff Schmeier, in the 22, the 87 of Bentley Glazer, the 23 of Paul Crumry, and the number 4 of Brian Barnes, as Will Fletcher brings it down pit side to get his next set of tires and fuel. Everybody else 1 or more laps down right now, though they are on fresh rubber, so it shouldn't be too difficult for them to get back on the lead lap the hard way if they have to do it that way.
Yeah, and you got to figure that these guys ought to be coming, but most of these guys left out here took that short pit strategy. We see the roles flip here for Jeff Hollingsworth and Bentley Glazer. Jeff Hollingsworth coming down this time well before Glazer will, with reason. But with that, with these guys making their next stop, they can easily make the end of this one on one more stop. So when that happens, they're just going to have to play the game of, are they out front enough to not drop far enough in the pack that in the ending laps of this one, those fresher tires are going to be the difference.
Well, we're about to see what is going to happen. It looks like Schmeier, Glazer, Crumry, and Barnes are all going to be on a 2-stop strategy, whereas everybody else is gambling on that 1-stop strategy paying off. But the question is it too much of a deficit to try to make up?
Absolutely, and as you said, these guys are just going to continue to lose time to these lap trucks as they continue to stay out. But right now, it's all the 22 of Schmeier.
Absolutely, as Earl Weaver who had brought it down pit road to get a set of tires in the number 16. Flirting with disaster coming off a 4, but with a head of steam, goes to the inside of Schmeier coming off a 2, and he's going to make the pass look, well, maybe not. Maybe he's not going to make it look that easy. Yeah, full send it mode going into 3, and that's what fresh tires can do for you.
And trucks on the lead lap. Brian Barnes able to make his way around the 23 of Krumrei down the front stretch. Now going to continue on out in front of him with lap trucks starting to file in there. That's Javier Perez Torres in the 15, and here comes the 14 of Bob Beltrami now. With those fresher tires, that's going to make it even harder for these guys to continue to move forward and not lose time.
It's also going to make it a lot harder for them to come down pit road, guys, as they're taking that inside quickest line, and you're going to have to call it out way ahead of time if you're going to try and get to the bottom to come down pit road here. It's hard to enter pit lane that we've seen multiple incidents happen from.
Absolutely.
And Jeff Schmeier stayed out. Bentley Glazer came down.
So Glazer, trying to get the hemorrhaging to stop, knows that he's losing time to the guys that just came down pit road. So that's going to hand second place over to Brian Barnes. Schmeier continues to show the way as we are 72 of 120 in the books. And Schmeier is in now to try to cover Glazer. Let's see how this shakes out as Glazer just now down off the jacks. And he's already lost position to yeesh.
Yeah, it was a big slide there coming off the pit road.
Yes, it was.
Lucky to hold on to that one in the 87.
Cold tires on a cool night.
Yep.
But it looks like your effective race lead, when all is said and done here, is going to shake out. Looks like the 97 of Hollingsworth. Martin Tuck was in about 20 laps before, 13 laps before Hollingsworth. So he's probably still going to have to come down for at least a splash and go. But Krumrei's finally in. That's going to hand second over to Tuck. The lead of the race is now in control of Brian Barnes, who was last down pit road on lap 70, and it looks like he's coming pit side this time. That's going to hand the lead of the race over to Tuck in the 17. Now, we saw Tuck have some issues on fresh tires and start to claw back some time once the tires started to wear in. And let's see what this gap looks like from Tuck to Hollingsworth. As looks like 4.5 seconds, which may not sound like much to the average viewer, but that's an eternity on an oval track.
Yeah, and just like I had talked about with these other guys, will those fresher tires matter? Martin Tuck will certainly be, unless he misses it on fuel here, I got to imagine that he's going to try to push this one to the finish. We'll see. We saw around 20, 25 laps, that tire fall off kind of leveled its way out to where the speed was about even between them. So see if anybody can close in here on Tuck quick enough. Battle for second, shaping up between Hollingsworth and Schmeier. Schmeier down to the inside in the 22. He's got a great run off the bottom. And we see Ryan Steele going to work now too, and the teammate of Hollingsworth just behind him in the form of the 87 of Bentley Glazer.
Absolutely. As Schmeier just dispatched to Hollingsworth like he was stopped on the highway, Glazer doing the same thing to Steele as, don't do it again, because that's the one thing that's plagued Bentley Glazer Jeff Hollingsworth all season has been connection issues. He mentioned that last week, that luckily he hasn't had as many this season as he did last season, as he just had a little bit of a flash there. Glazer closes in on the tailgate of his teammate, throws it to the inside, coming through the tri-oval. And just like that, Bentley Glazer back up into third as Schmeier and Glazer have already cut almost 3 full seconds into the lead that Martin Tuck had.
Absolutely, and that's what I was going to say. Jeff Schmeier just continues to eat in to Martin Tuck's lead. Last time it was 2.3. This time it'll be 1.2 seconds, so almost a second quicker, or 1.1 second quicker than Martin Tuck, as he's now got a rear view full of Jeff Schmeier and soon to be Bentley Glazer, as he was able to make his way around Hollingsworth and take quite an advantage rather quickly.
Absolutely. As here comes Schmeier to the inside of Tuck. Tuck was not able to get off of turn 4 very well. Schmeier full send it mode down the front chute, and just like that, the double deuce is back in the lead.
And just a quick update down pit road here. I've been talking to some of the crew chiefs, and it looks like we're looking at a 55 to 65 lap fuel run. So Martin Tuck is going to have to bring it down one more time, unless he's in save mode to make it. Everybody else, 1 or 2 laps to the green, other than Javier Torres.
That sounds like that might be what he's doing right now, because he's definitely not putting in the pace that he was in the opening salvo of this current fuel run. As Glazer flashes by, now tries to reel in Schmeier, and the rest of the field getting kind of strung out, although there is a battle heating up for 8th. That's between Charles Woods and Ron Hollyfield. Another 2 of the OGR guys going hammer and tongs at it inside the top 10. And good news if you're a Bob Beltrami fan, he is back in the top 10.
Absolutely, a great recovery run here for the 14 of Bob Beltrami, with these green flag stops being kind of tricky. Everybody seems to have their own kind of strategy here in this one, but for the 4 of Brian Barnes, pushing very long in that last green flag run, did not pan out. He's going to have a lot of work to do. Currently sitting in 13th, making his way back into the top 10 to have a chance to win this one.
Absolutely. This battle for 8th between Hollyfield and Charles Woods still going at it hot and heavy, as that is your closest battle on track. The rest of the field kind of strung out right now, almost like the Betty Ford Clinic. But Hollyfield and Woods, 2 guys that have raced with each other in the iRacing servers for quite a few years now, in quite a few different leagues. They know how each other drives. They're teammates. They get along well. Nobody's going to do anything stupid right now. They're just kind of in the riding mode and seeing how this one plays out. As it looks like, if I'm seeing this right, yeah, Schmeier is starting to pull a gap on Glazer.
And Glazer's trying not to make it easy, as it was only about a 1/10 of a second last time. See what he can do this time.
4th.
Glazer gonna lose 2/10 more that time. The battle for 4th heating up and settling in, as Hollingsworth able to make his way around Tuck. Now Ryan Steele looks like he's gonna have a good head of steam to make his way around the 17. Currently staring at a tailgate, but down into turn number 1, he's going to be able to make it to, turn 3. He's going to be able to clear the 17 of Tuck coming off of turn number 4 here. So Bentley Glazer loses 2/10 last time. This time he gains 3/10.
Give a little, take a little, give a little, take a little. That's mile and a half racing at its finest right now, as we are working lap 87 of 120. You are watching the Western States Racing League season number 46, live from the Nashville Superspeedway. Tony Trapasso up here with Mr. Ben Bruno and
James
Mr.
Rice.
Thank you, because James, I'm going to screw your last name up for a while. I just asked Frank what I did to his name the first 20 broadcasts I did with him. But James Riles over in the production truck, giving you these awesome shots here tonight, and keeping us abreast to what Ben and I are missing as, again, that battle for the number 8 spot, hot and heavy right now.
Yeah, just a good battle all the way through here as everybody's kind of shaking out due to pit strategy, as we're seeing Charles Woods and, like you said, Ron Holyfield making a pass. Charles on the inside. We're going to see if he's going to get clear coming into one. He is, but you can remember it. If there's a close race or a close finish, I am all riled up. So you can kind of remember it that way.
I will try to. I make no promises because I used to play hockey and I've had a lot of head injuries.
There we go.
Holyfield.
Shots fired.
Holyfield battling back to the inside now, guys.
Absolutely. OGR teammates at their finest right now. They're going to have to get this sorted out relatively quickly because Bob Beltrami is starting to breathe down both their necks.
Absolutely. And that time by 31 laps to go in this one, working lap number 90. And it looks like that tire fall off. We're right around that 20 lap point since these guys last came. And it looks like the tire fall off relatively in play at this point as Hollingsworth 6.7 seconds behind teammate second place sitting Bentley Glazer, and Ryan Steele continues to not fall backwards, but fall off with the tires as we see the lap truck of the 18 of McCartney now making his way around. So it looks like he did wait out the tow time and get a new power plant in that one.
Absolutely. You kind of had to with, as tight as the points battle is. Every point counts moving here forward. But Beltrami making some headway right now, sitting in the top 10, and that is the lap truck. That's the 23, currently sitting behind him. So that is not for position, is that Toyota, or the 20, I apologize. Again, that's not for position as fresher tires for the Toyota as Beltrami trying to bring his Toyota back towards the front. The 19 of James Campbell working the inside as well, again on much fresher tires. Those guys only came down a handful of laps ago. As now Woods and Holyfield get it nose to tail, and they start to pull a little bit of a gap on Beltrami as Beltrami had to deal with his two lap trucks getting by him, as those guys, I believe, are a battle for position. Yes, they are. Yeah. That's Hutchinson in the 20 and Campbell in the 19.
Yeah, Hutchison has been strong all season long. James Campbell currently sitting right in front of him right now as he continues to battle. Hutchison out in front of Campbell. Campbell falling back quite a distance now for that battle. They're both 3 laps down, but that battle there between Holyfield and Woods just continues on as Holyfield able to make his way back around, and Bob Beltrami also throwing his hat in the ring. Beltrami on the top of Woods now, as we saw the 40 of Charles Woods able to get clear of the 2 of Holyfield in that lap of traffic, but now it's Holyfield back in front and Beltrami making his way around the 40.
This late into a fuel run, we're starting to see that second lane come into its own. And you're able to defend and start to make passes on it because you're not being as aggressive on the tires as those around you, and you're able to carry just a little bit more speed in that second lane. That could have ended poorly. Timmy Bates. Yeah, something happened to the 24, Timmy Bates. Excuse me while I go back and see what happened there. Just came down pit road.
Yeah, I don't know. I got that. I heard the sounds. Couldn't catch who it was. Because you're absolutely right. Tim Bates able to just make his way straight down. But it sounded like some contact with the outside wall for one of these trucks.
Yeah, the 99. Why do I don't even show. Tobin. Something happened to Tobin coming off of 4. Oh, I know what you were hearing. It was his splitter scraping as he forgot to take the access road. So, yeah, that's what you were hearing. It was his splitter scraping. And looks like Moore has, Adrian Moore has put it on the hauler. It looks like Tobin, why have I lost Tobin? There he is. Absolutely. As Ron Holyfield, Bob Beltrami throws it to the inside, going into turn number 1. Beltrami with the head of steam, able to get the pass done on corner exit. And just like that, Beltrami into the number 8 spot.
And he needs to continue to push forward, as you said earlier, Tony. He's looking to continue to close in on this points battle as he's having a real strong run here. Taking a look back up front real quick here. Jeff Schmeier and Bentley Glazer, as you said, take a little, give a little, just trading off about 0.2 of a second. I don't believe that this gap has really exceeded 1.7 seconds. Now it does 1.863 seconds to the good for Jeff Schmeier over Bentley Glazer. And then Jeff Hollingsworth now has a lap car between him and Ryan Steele, which is the 11 of Fuson. But Ryan Steele has continued to close the gap in on Hollingsworth.
But let's make a note here. Hollingsworth is 9.5 seconds behind his teammate, who sits in second place. That's years on a 1.5-mile oval track. As looks like our battle for 6 getting hot and heavy right now. That's Rob Gall in the 31, taking it to the 17 of Martin Tuck. I gotta think you were right. Tuck's going into fuel conservation mode as we are 19 laps to go right now. Gall able to make the pass look relatively simple there. And you got to think Tuck is going to try to limp this one home rather than come down for a splash and go.
Yeah, sitting inside of the top 6, it's going to be tough to come with 18. But the real question is, at this point, can he make it? As you mentioned earlier, it looked like he might be conserving fuel, and it still looks like he is conserving fuel, but continuing to hold on to a top 10 spot after starting this one second. The interesting pit strategies from amongst the field, let alone just from what Martin Tuck's strategy was, has made things very interesting as the battle for 9th starting to take off. We see Brian Barnes now to the inside of Ron Holyfield. He's able to clear by maybe a sheet of paper, almost contact between the two of them.
That was the 99 getting into the wall behind those guys. That was a hard smack into the safer barrier coming off of 4. But we stay clean and green so far as they are coming up on Bob Beltrami right now. And Barnes with a full head of steam going into turn number 3. Makes it look just that simple on Beltrami. Beltrami tries to battle back, though, side by side down the front chute. And that battle's not over with yet for 8.
No, and you can see that that long run, as I had mentioned earlier, having, oh gosh, it really wasn't a whole lot, but for some of these guys that he's working on, maybe 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 lap pressured tires, what a difference it's making for the 4 of Barnes. But is it too little too late? He is rather quick right now. His last lap was a 32.1. I'm sorry, that was Beltrami with the 32.1. And Barnes a whole 10th quicker at a 32.020.
Absolutely. As here comes the lap truck of Timmy Bates, who had just gone down pit road to get some fresh shoes put on that thing to bring him home. Looks like Angelo Espo has put it on the hauler as well, so only a couple of retirements here tonight. As we are officially 15 to go right now. Make that 14 to go. As Schmeier continues to show the way over your points leader, Bentley Glazer, and Glazer now has 10 seconds to the good over his teammate, Jeff Hollingsworth. And Ryan Steele doing everything he can to try to get around the lap truck of Dennis Fuson, although it looks like Arrow Push seems to be plaguing the 12 right now, because every time he gets close to Fuson, that truck does not want to go into the corner.
Absolutely, and the tire fall off not helping with that any little bit. Is notable, only 11 trucks on the lead lap right now, the last one being the 40 of Charles Woods. That battle raged on for a very long time as Bob Beltrami able to make his way around the lap truck in the 99 that's got some damage there on the right front, continuing to try to battle back towards the 4 of Brian Barnes. So certainly towards the end of this one, going to be some very interesting battles to keep our eyes on.
Absolutely. Now, we know that Schmeier and Glazer should be able to make it from here. Hollingsworth most likely will be able to make it. Same with Steele, same with Rawlings, same with Gall. The one in question right now inside the top 10 is the 17 of Martin Tuck. Last down pit road on lap 50. We think he's gone into fuel conservation mode because he's not carrying anywhere near the same amount of speed as anybody else in the top 10 right now. So he could be in trouble before all is said and done, because 71 laps is a big ask.
Absolutely, and things relatively settled out, as I had mentioned, a couple battles to keep the eye on, but right now, the battle for 8th, thank you, between Brian Barnes and Bob Beltrami continuing to close in on the tailgate of the 4, coming down the backstretch. As Tony had mentioned, the top line able to carry a little bit of momentum. We see the 14 run a half a groove higher coming in than the 4, and he's able to close right in coming off of these turns. So how many more laps can the 4 of Brian Barnes fend off Bob Beltrami?
Well, when you've got an angry Sicilian sitting behind you, it's definitely going to be mindful in your rearview mirror of what do I need to do to keep this guy away from me, because I can say this wholeheartedly because I am part Sicilian. We're going to do whatever it takes legally to get that spot away from you.
Gotta love that toss in, as I very much so understand that the battle up front is beginning to tighten up here, Tony, with just 7 to go in this one, as Bentley Glazer now within 1.1 second of leader Jeff Schmeier as he makes his way around the last car on the lead lap was the 40 of Charles Woods, now going to be a lap down. But Bentley Glazer continuing to close in. Does Schmeier have enough Goodyear Eagle left on that truck to fend off the 87?
Well, that's the question that we need to have answered here. And it looks like we are going to find out in about 6 laps if he can do it, as Schmeier now has Charles Woods leaving Bentley Glazer to deal with Charles Woods, although those guys are OGR teammates, as Glazer with a big wiggle coming off a 2 drops it to the low side on his teammate. And here we go, as here comes the 27, who is a lap truck, not for position. That is David Wood, currently sitting in the 21st spot right behind Glazer. Now, Wood does have some fresher tires than Glazer does, as there's our answer. Martin Tuck just went pit side.
Simply probably could not have made it on fuel. But up front, Bentley Glazer with that wobble lost 0.2 of a second that time, Tony.
Yeah, and that's not something he can do right now. Although I'm showing both of them with a 30.32 last time across the stripe. Let's see what it is this time. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's their best lap. Yeah, Lost 2 more 100s there that last time by. But they're 2 of the only drivers that came down on their same pit strategy that are still in the 31-second bracket. As here we go, 3 to go. Schmeier in control of this one, almost a full second to the good over Glazer.
And Glazer chipped into it by 0.2. It's exactly, well, not exactly, 1.083 seconds, but Bentley Glazer certainly still got enough gas in the tank for this one. See if he can reel in the 22. It's going to be an interesting one here as Schmeier's still out front, making his way off of turn number 4 here. It's going to be a thriller.
Absolutely. Popsicle sticks in the air. 2 more laps to go. Schmeier in control of it. Glazer doing everything he can to try to reel him in. Glazer might have been overdriving the truck, although he did pick up about 0.5 tenth there on that last lap. Although I think it's going to be a little too late as Schmeier brings it through 3 and 4. And he's going to be able to see the white flag this time by. Unless all hell breaks loose right now, we are going to get a natural finish to this race. Schmeier crosses under the start-finish line to start the final lap. Schmeier, Glazer, Hollingsworth, Steele, Rawlings, your top 5. Glazer right now just trying to keep it dirty side down as Schmeier looking to come up on the number 2 of Ron Hollyfield. Now the question is he going to try to pass Hollyfield, or is he going to let him go one more lap? And it looks like he's going to stay behind Hollyfield. Still has enough of a gap on Glazer to come home with a victory. Crosses under the checkered flag. A little bit of a wiggle for the team saying, we did it, boys. 3rd race win of the season. Jeff Schmeier in the double deuce.
What a run all night long. Speed in the 22 truck was there, coming from 13th. We saw him lead a lot of laps in this one as he's able to fend off the 87 in points leader, Bentley Glazer, and continue to chip into that lead. And his teammate Jeff Hollingsworth coming home in 3rd. So not a bad showing here for these guys in a very, very entertaining race.
Absolutely. And you wouldn't expect anything less from these guys. We had, 1 caution?
Yes.
So 1 caution, and that was just a mistake, and that wasn't even a driver mistake. That was an iRacing glitch. The spotter yelled clear to the driver, and unfortunately it wasn't clear, and oops. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, great racing throughout the field. After those green flag pit stops, and we saw some guys get off cycle and so on. I almost thought dead to rights that when we saw the green flag pit stops happen, that we were going to see a lot more carnage than we did, as guys trying to hustle cars, guys battling with cars that were on fresher tires and not realizing it. Oi! Happy birthday to you. No maliciousness there. That's just congratulatory demolition derby for these guys. As I believe just about everybody in the field is happy that one more time Jeff Schmeier is able to put it into victory lane, and it's one more win that Bentley Glazer didn't get, as I was starting to get a little monotonous there for a second. And Ben, I believe you have our race winner with you now.
Jeff, an absolute great run here for you tonight from Nashville. It looked like you had another gear than everybody else in the 22 tonight.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising because this is the first time I've ever been here. But yeah, once I figured it out, it's kind of like a big, like Richmond, where you just have to dive into the corners. Yeah, once I figured it out, it was I started moving it forward. It was cool.
Now, it looked like coming off of turn number 4 was quite tricky all night long as you maneuvered your way from 13th to the front of this one. Just take us through what it looked like for you.
at first it didn't look very good after getting taken out early, but it turned out that was the winning strategy. So yeah, turn 4 was a little fishy, especially if you're trying to pass on the outside. But yeah, I was just able to just take it easy, get through the field, and then once Bentley and I got through the field, we were able to just go.
Towards the end there, you talked about it a little bit with strategy. Is it kind of laid itself in your lap? Was something I was going to ask you about. You know, it seemed like with everybody not having a ton of time here at Nashville, the pit strategy was kind of unknown even.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, if that crash didn't happen early, I wouldn't have pitted. I would have been on the same strategy as everyone else. So yeah, it was a bit of a just kind of guessing what I was going to do. I was just going to kind of follow what everyone else does, and it turned out that it worked out for me.
Coming down the long run, Jeff, Bentley was slowly but steadily starting to chip into you. Did you have any knowledge of that, and did it ever cross your mind?
A little bit. I saw it getting a little bit slower, but a little bit closer. But I was just trying to stay focused. I knew if I just kind of focused ahead, he probably wouldn't have the time to pass me, much less catch me, much less pass me.
Jeff, with the win here tonight at Nashville, you continue to chip into the points of Bentley Glazer. I believe still scored in the second position. Who do you got to thank for getting you into victory lane here tonight?
I got to thank my Dog Bear teammates. We got Ryan in the top 5. That's awesome. Rob, Brian, Bob, they all got top 10s. Got to thank my mom and dad and my sister. They all are watching the races. And my beautiful girlfriend. I just want to say I love you guys.
Again, congratulations to you here on the win from Nashville. And we will look forward to seeing you not next week with the off week. Next time we see you, we'll be at Loudoun.
All right.
Sounds good. Thank you.
So that was our race winner, Mr. Jeff Schmeier. And we've got Bentley Glazer now. Bentley, all things considered, you can't be too disappointed in how this race turned out tonight. You're still going to maintain your points lead and, still a podium finish. So, you're still sending that message loud and clear that if anybody wants to wrestle this championship away from you as the defending series champion, they're going to have to go through you to get it.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying. Had a pretty good run going. Jeff was fast the whole time, and I definitely think he was a little faster than me. I was starting to catch him right at the end of the run there. But I had trouble getting through lap traffic, and then I got doored by a lap car and broke my car pretty much, and then had to pit early just because I was losing too much time and too much to make up. But it was a really good run, and Jeff Schmeier, he's always fast and always raced it clean, so congrats to him.
Well, still, Bentley, you put on an amazing show tonight, especially the way you were picking a way through both lead lap and lap down cars to do everything you can to try to reel Schmeier in. Just how difficult was it to maintain pace tonight and still keep the tires underneath the vehicle?
That's a good question because every time I've raced here, I've burned my right front up, so still trying to figure that out. And I don't know, this is a good track, but yeah, I keep burning right front up.
Well, we go to another track where that's probably going to be a problem in 2 weeks as we've got next week off. But when we return, we go to the Miracle Mile at Loudoun, New Hampshire. Your thoughts going into that track?
That's one of my favorite tracks, and especially in the truck, I should do pretty well, I think. I really like that track.
All right, Bentley. Great night overall for the boys from OGR. All 4 of you putting it in the top 10 tonight. Anybody you need to thank before we let you go?
Thank you guys as always, and then always thank Team OGR, and thank you Western States Racing League.
All right, Bentley, congratulations on the win tonight. Enjoy that off week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks at Loudoun.
Thank you.
So that was our second place finisher, Bentley Glazer. And James, would you like to speak with our third place finisher, Mr. Jeff Hollingsworth?
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Hey, Jeff, it's James in the booth, man. Congratulations on the third place finish. I know you were trying to reel in Bentley there at the end. Did you think you had anything for him?
No, they had a pretty good lead. It looks like I was like 13 seconds back, but it was he and Jeff and a couple other guys pit on that one caution and got tires. And I mean, you see what tires do, man. I didn't have nothing for him, but I feel good about third. I hate looked like Kyle got collected by a guy there and ruined his race. I feel bad for him, but good race overall. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. And you talked about that first caution and the decision to stay out. What was leading into that? Did you expect more cautions throughout the race here at Nashville?
I know about that, but tires, man, you know how I've been beat by tires a lot of times in this league. So I was like, I'm not gonna burn a pair here. So I was gonna dip in and just get fuel. And when everybody went back out, I just stayed out with them. I monkey see, monkey do. So it was all up to me about the having sets of tires for the end in case we did have like a shootout at the end, which happens sometimes,
Definitely. Well, again, congratulations on the third place finish. Who you want to shout out? Who's on the truck?
Well, the truck is the Coast Guard. That's my people. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to Bob. It looked like he had a little bit of bad luck there. And this league, and especially my teammates, love racing with all of y'all. Old guys rule. We have a good time. We laugh the whole time. And that's what it's all about to me. And that's about it, brother. Yep. Can't wait to watch it. You guys be safe. God bless you.
So that was our third place finisher, Mr. Jeff Hollingsworth. And Ben, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Takeaways from the tight confines that are the Nashville Superspeedway tonight.
Yeah, a lot to learn here in this one. Is it's the first time I've ever had the pleasure of calling it, and wasn't really sure what to expect. Where with some of these other tracks, you kind of know what might happen. I thought maybe we would see a surprise winner with some of those guys starting out from Martin Tuck with some tough luck, and a couple other guys with some tough luck in this one. But overall, it kind of just seems to fall right into the same category where it's, a 20-25 lap tire fall off for these guys. And when that happens, it makes things really interesting. So, pit strategy this time, as I had asked Jeff about, kind of unknown it seemed to be. As you heard Jeff say, it really fell into his lap with that first caution and catching some damage there, having to come in, ultimately ended up that first short pit paying benefits for him.
Absolutely. And James, I know you've done races from this facility before. Your thoughts as we get ready to leave Nashville with the Western States Racing League putting race number 13 in the books.
Yeah, the 1.3, it's the worst of both worlds, right? The 1.5, it doesn't really have the banking, but it's not quite a short track, and these guys handled it fantastically. We saw tires played a huge factor up until that drop off of about 20 laps. So if you find yourself heading to Nashville on the service, pay attention to that 12 lap fresher tires pit strategy coming into play here. And I'm amazed they were able to keep it green as long as they were. iRacing having a little bit of hiccups. There should have been a couple more, in my uncultured opinion, but you love to see those green flag runs, especially if you're Jeff Schweimer, or Bentley. You want to see those long runs in that play. But yeah, just a fantastic race and good racing from the Western States Racing League.
Absolutely. But as you heard us mention, we are going to be off next week, and we will be returning in 2 weeks at Loudoun. That track, I think I would rather get thrown into a sleeping bag with a rabid pit bull than have to be forced to drive that track.
Absolutely. And it's one of my favorite to call because it like you said, it's hectic. There's going to be action all over, and maintaining the 4 sets of goodies has never been more important.
Absolutely. That seems to be the takeaway from just about every track we've gone to this season,
Without a doubt.
except for the plate tracks. You know, with the latest tire model that iRacing has given us, it's a bigger challenge than the drivers have faced in any of the previous seasons in the iRacing servers. And you're really starting to see the cream of the crop, you know, rise. You know, and as of right now, as far as being useful cream, Bentley Glazer is going to have the best cheese at the end of the season.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I mean, you see it. It's one of those things. If you're familiar with the service, at least what I would do hopping in asphalt races, be watching for guys to go. That's just not going to work. You're going to have to come to your own strategy and be knowledgeable about exactly what you want to do to maintain those tires and what your pitch strategy is going to be. We see guys conserve tires. I can't wholeheartedly say that I've ever seen a Western States Racing League win come from strictly babying a truck around the track, more so the pit strategy. So it's very complex and a whole different skill set besides just driving these cars that these guys have. And the big thing about it is, you know, they got a lot of these guys, Bentley Glazer, Jeff Schmeier. I'm sorry, is it Schmeier, Beltrami? I'm sorry, I can't remember their team. I know it's very extensive. They have a ton of knowledge in their corner.
It's Schmeier, Beltrami, and I believe he said Ryan Steele.
Yeah, I mean they got bucket loads of info that they're all, you know, working with one another on. So really helps your cause when this league is that competitive.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, you take a look at your top 10, that entirety of that top 10 finishing order is filled with two teams. The team that Schmeier's on and the team that Glazer's on. And those two teams put in work. And that's what you've got to do to be successful in anything in life. You've got to put in the practice. You know, I had a hockey coach tell me one time, perfect practice leads to perfect performance. And it's really showing true here as the season is starting to wind down and we're getting into, you know, to crunch time where every point counts moving forward. And, you know, with as tight as this points battle is right now, you can't blink or else you're going to get screwed. But let's take a quick look at our finishing order here tonight. Again, coming home with his third victory of the season, the double deuce of Jeff Schmeier. Points leader Bentley Glazer continues to have the points lead coming out of here tonight. Jeff Hollingsworth in third. Ryan Steele, great run for him, coming home in fourth. Ross Rawlings, good recovery drive for him, coming home in fifth. Rob Gall in sixth. Brian Barnes finished where he started, coming home in seventh. Decent run for Bob Beltrami after getting into that issue early on and going a lap down, I believe, just before that first caution. Coming home in eighth. Ron Hollyfield rounds out your lead lap trucks in the deuce. Coming home in ninth. Charles Woods in 10th, finishing one lap down.
David Weaver brings it home 11th. Dennis Fuson 12th. Then 2 laps down, a couple of cars. Paul Kroom Ryan 13th and William Fletcher. Javier Perez Torres 15th. Julian Ricci in 16th. Wayne Hutchison in 17th. Timothy Bates 18th. James Campbell 19th. David Wood 20th. Wayne Fleet 21st. Kyle McCartney, after a tough break, going to finish 5 laps down in 22nd. Earl Weaver in 23rd. Martin Tuck in 24th. Ayrton Tobin in 25th. And then a couple of early retirees here in this one. Adrian Moore coming home 26th. Angelo Espo 27th. Paul Hoffman, 28th. Barry Phil, 29th. Fred Williams, 30th. Jeffrey Schloss, 31st. And Brandon Solis and Dan Stussy electing not to start this one.
So that is going to do it for us here tonight. Be sure to join us tomorrow night, as I believe it's going to be James. I believe you're in the booth. No, it's going to be Angel and Byron in the booth for the Endurance for Amateurs next round of their competition, as that's going to roll off at 8:25 Eastern time. It'll be John and myself in the booth for the Sim Racers Edge IndyCar Series, as they go to Twin Ring Motegi for their next round of their series. That'll be an 8:15 Eastern time start for the broadcast on that one. But for Mr. Ben Bruno up in the broadcast booth, for Mr. James Riles in the production truck, this is Tony Trapasso reminding you, ladies and gentlemen, that as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.